Up all night by myself, trying to think of ways to use your voice stuck in my brain. We never got to see it through.
Alright everybody, please give a warm welcome to mcthumbs and Silver Sun Frenzy. mcthumbs will be running us Tinykin today.
Hello everyone, my name is mcthumbs. I will be running the game Tinykin. I will be running the category all parts percent, which is this game's version of no major glitches, as we just go through all the main parts of the game, collecting the parts at the end of each of the missions. And I'll let Silver Sun introduce.
Hi, my name is Silver Sun Frenzy, he, him pronouns, and I am the person who submitted Tinykin. It's my first, my first speed run out of 2, and I'm very excited to commentate for it today.
All right, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get this started in 3, 2, 1, and let's go.
Aegis.
All right, so Tinykin, basically, the story rundown is you are an alien from another planet who that's inhabited by tiny humans, and you're a professor at a university who believes that humans originated from a planet called Earth. So you set out on your spaceship to that planet, crash land, and you end up here in this gigantic house with this bug man. So we're gonna meet our first Tinykin, the Strong Guys, and so this game is I basically think of it as Pikmin, but with a lot of fun. It's much more fun once we get to the central area here, but for right now, what we're gonna do is just go around collecting all of our little Tinykin that we can on this level. We're gonna need all of them. And this game has a lot of, all speedruns have optimizations, but what we're seeing right here is instead of going and collecting them all manually walking around, we're gonna do our best to try to target them with the other Tinykin by throwing them. The targeting system isn't perfect in this game, and sometimes it ends up not being worth it to kind of like aim it and try to hit it from afar. Sometimes you just got to take the L and walk over and grab it. But yeah. So now what we're like our first part, we're doing an all parts run, and these parts are basically going to be to create a spaceship, and it's all going to make sense, and you're going to look at it and say that makes sense for a spaceship. It's swim goggles. And then, like a lot of sort of Pikmin-like, Overlord-like games, there's going to be some downtime while you wait for your minions to walk over and hit the vents. So, Wesley, if you've got anything to read, now would be a great time.
Hi, yes, thank you so much. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about QMUNITY. QMUNITY has helped over 13,000 people who sought help in 2022. They continue to meet community demand for low-barrier, queer-competent services equipped to support those navigating sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression across all age groups in British Columbia. Their Information and Referral Services Program, or QDesk, continues to act as the beating heart for information and referral for anyone in British Columbia seeking information, resources, and support related to two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersexual, and asexual areas of information, and offers resources to service providers as well. Thank you so much.
All right, so this moth, Ridme, is introducing us to the Crystal Workshop, which is basically the main hub of the game. We're going to go back here a couple times, but he has now given us the most important piece in the game, the soap board, which is basically just a skateboard, and it makes everything so much fun, and you'll see that in just a second. So yeah, that's the soap board. It's going to make us move real fast, lets us grind on these silkbug silks, and, obviously is going to be instrumental to the rest of the run. So now we're going to go back into the transdoor crossing, the hallways. We're going to go into the next room. So the game is divided up into different sections of the house, and the first section is like a music room, sort of a lounge room, basically. And each of them have their own little like story, self-contained story, that are all really interesting and political and religious and just really fascinating for a game that is, it kind of looks like a PBS cartoon, basically. So the first one we're going to go to is Sanctar, and we're going to be collecting a flag for the spaceship. And so Ridme has this blueprint on his wall, and he believes that there is a god, Savior Ardwin, who is the master of the house, who no one's ever seen, and he's created this blueprint to help them escape from the house. And so it just so happens that you need a spaceship, and they need somebody who can control the Tinykin, because nobody else can. And then in each level, we're going to be introduced to different kinds of Tinykins. So we've got our strong guys, who are the ones who are going to be carrying around the different parts, the different pieces, the different CDs, things like that. And we're going to be introduced to the red guys next. So these guys explode, and they seem to enjoy it. I don't really understand the life cycle of them, but they're very useful when it comes to revealing different hidden walls, breaking down different barriers and obstacles. And it's important to keep a set number of them, because you don't want to be caught out missing a bomb, and you need 5, and you only have 4, and I cannot tell you how many runs I have had to scrap because I've been missing a specific number of bombs, or yellows, or reds, or what have you. So a lot of these runs are going to be sort of balancing, kind of moving fast, making sure we are completing all of our tasks, making sure they're all going at the same time, making sure we have enough of our Tinykin to go to the next part, to go to the next part, to go to the next part. Because a lot of this can really snowball if you end up missing one guy out in the corner for, you just have a little brain fart moment. So what we're going to be doing in this level is making sure this CD gets into the ZD player. It's a very important religious symbol for these shield bugs, who are the only ones who can hear the sacred canticle of Savior Ardwin. Again, there's a lot of religious stuff, a lot of political stuff, and so these bugs in this room have been sort of like stratified based on who can hear like this sacred tune. So basically what we're going to be doing is playing this CD, and then everyone can hear the word of God. So this is an interesting little piece of game here, because what you can do is, if you are on a particular part of the level right here, you can actually clip through the couch. There is a danger in that, though, in that sometimes your strong mans will just disappear. Like you'll just be missing 2 for really no reason. I think it's just a glitch, and it's based. Oh, sorry.
I think that just happened. I'm
oh no,
a strong man.
That's okay. That happens every now and again. So what we can do is we can wait around for them to finish their task, or we can go and find some others. I want to say there may be some
up here.
Mm-hmm. And something really fun about the game is I really feel it's so immaculately designed. I mean, yes, there are a few little bugs here and there, but the sound design is just like so wonderful and so playful. I mean, just going up that xylophone, you hear that little, the scale that it did. And if you go into, and obviously we're going way too fast to really appreciate the game, but there are different like subsections of each level that changed kind of how the music is playing. So there's a cafe inside of a guitar in this level, and when you go in there, the music kind of like it's a little quieter, a little more guitar focused, a little more like jazz piano oriented. It's just a fabulous little game. So again, we're doing all parts, and oh yes. Yeah, so here's the little cafe guitar. So while we wait for the CD, if you've got anything, Wesley, now would be a great time as well.
Thank you. So, like I always do, I want to talk a little bit more about QMUNITY, just give a little more information. about what they aim to do for us. Community's mission is to improve queer, trans, and two-spirit lives through support, connection, and leadership. They envision vibrant, diverse, and celebrated queer and trans communities, where individuals are empowered to live their lives fully, free from discrimination. Thanks to your support, Community is able to ensure that no one in British Columbia gets left behind. And I also have a couple donations. One from the speedrunning soldier DJ Fatso, $60. He says, "This is every penny made from Path of the Vault. Shoutouts to everyone who bought a copy. It means the world to me. People are buying my music. Shoutouts to the entire Earworm family who donated. See you all for Speedromizer 6. As always, hashtag say no to disco." Thank you, DJ. And Tennessee Honey donated donated $10 a couple minutes ago. "Wow, Dad, Tinykin is really cool. Love you. This is Tennessee."
That's my dog. That's my doggy.
Aww.
My little Tennessee boy.
All right, thank you so much for giving me a moment to talk. Enjoy the game.
All right, so we got the CD. Everyone can hear the Canticle of Arduin. The religious hierarchy has been destroyed, and we've got our flag. What's funny, and what's funny about this is that like you're technically like an alien invader, but you're not here to like subjugate or like interact. Really, you're kind of here to get your stuff and leave. And I feel like this is something that if anyone has ever played a Hat in Time, there's like a similar vein of like you're kind of a humanoid alien just trying to like do your thing and get out. So you have this sort of amorality when it comes to all these sort of like political goings on. So you just kind of like shake the tenets of these people's faith, and then you kind of take their religious symbols, and then you go and build your spaceship out of it. And everyone's pretty much fine. And you'll see that reflected a couple other times in these different levels. But that is the first level down. So we're going to go back to the Crystal Workshop. We're going to put our part on our spaceship, because every spaceship obviously needs a flag. Because, that's the point otherwise. And then we're going to get introduced to Sakaru the Brewer. And so one mechanic in this game is the bubbles. And if you hold A in mid-air while you jump, you can float a set distance. And they give you get one to start out, and then they give you another one just now, so you have two total. And so this game is a collectathon, so there was a lot of extra stuff in this game that we're not going to see. But one of those things is you can collect pollen throughout each level. And if you hit a certain number of pollen, you can bring that over to Sakaru, and he can brew another bubble for you. So you can end up with like a ton of hang time, and some of that is required for some of the sort of side missions and little different collectibles that you can pick up throughout the game. And some of them are like actually very, very interesting lore-wise, because this game it does look like a PBS cartoon, and on the surface it really is, collect your spaceship parts and go. But there really is like this sadder, deeper like thing going on in the background as to sort of like what happened here, why is it 1992, where are the people, why have bugs taken over, that you kind of get from like reading these different collectibles that you collect and engaging fully with the game. Anyway, so we're in Foliana Heights now, and we're probably not going to see much of this level because of an interesting glitch that actually doesn't work on the Switch version of the game, which is the version that I run. But what we're going to do is we're going to take this another religious symbol from these very zealous.
You kind of just have to do this until it works.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
All right, so that is a pretty important skip that we're going to see a few times in the run, and it saves an astronomical amount of time. So I can barely explain the plot behind this one before we have the key to unlock the lock to get the funnel to leave the level. So that is something that you do, and I've never done it myself, so I don't know how difficult it is.
Yeah.
So do you want to explain that?
Yeah, it's very much just, you kind of just throw yourself at it until you get the trick. You just kind of have to spam it until it works. Sometimes it'll work first try, sometimes you'll be spamming for like a minute straight. But it will eventually work, and you just gotta be... Yeah, in some of the later levels, there is a chance to softlock, but the game's checkpoint system is so good that you'll just get sent back to right before you were clipping and get to try again.
So basically the way the trick is set up, I don't know how it works exactly, but the way it's set up is you build yourself a little ladder of the new green Tinykin, which are actually my favorite in the game, but I didn't have the time to introduce them. You can just build a ladder anywhere, so you just have verticality wherever you want. If you build a ladder of about 2 or 3 of them, and you climb to the top and use your whistle at the same time, it's a lot going on at once. You can clip through specific walls in the game. Some of them, like that we just did earlier, skips the entire level, basically. Some of them, like this, are going to clip us out of bounds, hopefully. And if not, we can,
Yeah, I'll try this for a little bit.
Totally up to you.
So, the way that the trick needs to work is that you need to have a certain amount of green Tinykin. 4 is usually the sweet spot. There we go. Now out of bounds. That one is the only one that you... Like, for all of them except for that one, you need to build a ladder of 3 green Tinykin. For that one, you need to build a ladder of 2 in order to get that trick to that clip specifically to work. It's the only clip that's like that.
Interesting.
But, yeah, there's a lot of very finicky guidelines in order for you to actually get the trick, including disabling VSync.
Yep.
Making sure you have a certain number of green Tinykin. It's very finicky, but it saves a lot of time throughout the run.
Oh yeah, so the way that the kind of structure of the game has worked so far is we go into a level, we do the thing, get the thing, go back to our main hub, go back out, do the thing, go to the hub. This here skipped that entire going to the hub section of the game. Which actually, again, I've never done because the Switch version doesn't allow you to disable VSync. But yeah, it saves a ton of time. And we're going to see that again here, once we kind of go around collecting enough of our Tinykin to prepare us for later. Now, mcthumbs has just collected the blue Tinykin, one of our new ones. And they're, well, I was going to say they're not my favorite. They are my least favorite. So what they do is they connect electrical circuits to each other. They conduct electricity. All right, but they can be very finicky, and we'll take a peek at that later. But what just happened is, so this level is separated into two halves. One of the sections is run by dung beetles, the other section's run by silverfish, and they are kind of at odds with each other right now, so you have to throw a party to make them like each other. That's the gist. What just happened is mcthumbs just skipped the first half of the level. Typically you have to collect enough blue Tinykin to get enough greens to make a ladder to go all the way up, swinging back and forth, which is something that's in the Switch run of it. But this one is nice that you just get to skip all of that and go straight to the party making. Yeah, so this level... Oh yeah, let's take a peek at the blues.
The blue Tinykins are definitely my least favorite too.
So So in essence, that's what the blue tiny can do. They have a very specific usage, and sometimes they don't connect quite right, and just the indicator for whether they're connected or not is a very kind of vague, squiggly line, as opposed to sort of like an on-off kind of thing, and because you have the freedom to make them in sort of any kind of line that you want within reason. So it's actually programmed, I want to say it's programmed to make sure you don't soft lock yourself by like running out of blues, so you can't make like an infinitely long line of them. But that does end up meaning that you have a specific like set number that you can use to make a line, and sometimes you feel like you might need more. They're tricky. So the few things that we have to collect in this level, I mean, and they're all over. The game definitely plays around with verticality in this level. So we're going to be collecting a big old boat, because you need a party boat. We're going to be collecting the laser, which we already have, because we need a laser light show. We need bubble bath to start the foam party. And then what else do we need?
That's pretty much it. The blue Tinykins, right? Yeah, the blue Tinykins are already controlling the radio, so that's already done.
The radio, right? Yes, the thing that we've already done. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna get up real high.
Yeah, we do also need to turn on the fan, which is another blue Tinykin section.
Thankfully, there's not too many of these in the game, and it is funny if you see some of the Oh, you may have run out.
Oh, I did. Wow. Okay.
So, and if you watch the world record runs, I mean, even they kind of struggle with these. You'll see them mess them up a couple of times. I mean, it's totally fine if you mess up like one or two, but it kind of speaks to how finicky they can be.
Yeah, I must have missed a few collectibles on the way through. A few Tinykin eggs. See if I can find some. There's some way back here.
Yeah. All right, we're just gonna do a couple. Oh. Yes, that's another thing that'll trip you up if you're in the middle of a jump or something and a cutscene plays. It'll like you'll just fall straight down and have to redo it. I've again lost quite a few runs to mistiming things.
I don't know how I only ended up with 10. I might have to just retrace my steps here.
Yeah.
The Tinykin management can be really, really tricky. Because you got to memorize not only the route you're taking, but also the route that I think I missed these guys. 14 should be enough. Yeah, you have to not only memorize the Tinykin collecting route, but also the mission requirements routes.
And also the backup locations, just in case. But yeah, so that's blues. Make them be a little tricky.
And in hindsight, I could have just climbed the rope and got the ones on the towel. Totally forgot about those.
Oh, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, when you're doing a very specific route, you get into such a mindset that it's like, oh, what do I do outside of this? What do I do?
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, now, normally the game wants you to do a bunch of parkouring, kind of up that. If you see that back wall, they want you to go up that way. We're not going to go up that way. We're going to just kind of skip all that. Ooh, fantastic. I usually do a little safety ladder there because, one, I'm obsessed with the greens, and two, I'm not as coordinated as it seems that you are there. So that was great. That was very clean. And then from up here, you can just kind of throw that laser down there.
And one thing that I haven't done just because the Tinykin have not given me the opportunity to do so, but there is a way you can kind of overlap a Tinykin throwing something in and you throwing something at it to where the cutscenes can skip and overlap, which saves a little bit of time.
Yeah, this one is I've found it to be the kind of the easiest to time because they give you so much hang time between because once you're up there you throw the Tinykin, as long as the Tinykin's en route to where it's gonna trigger a secondary cutscene, you're good. A lot of them are very close up. I find this one to be the easiest kind of out of context, but when you're thinking about like, all right, like the boat is here, the I still gotta do the electricity, I gotta get at this ladder, oh no, I'm missing a blue or I'm missing a red or whatever, making sure everything's going exactly to plan can be very difficult, as we've seen, but you know, it is what it is. And so yeah, now just we're waiting for the scissors. And then, yeah, we're going to go back to the Crystal Workshop. If Wesley, if you've got anything else to say. If not, I could talk about Tinykin forever.
I actually do have a couple donations that just came in about, let's see, 10 minutes ago. Alex donated $25, donating the cost of the game Tinykin out of my love for this wonderful game. Thank you for the run. And Spencer and Carrie Ann donated $20 just a couple minutes ago. Thank you, Spencer and Carrie Ann, and thank you, Alex.
Thank you, everybody. Those are my friends. Yeah, I don't remember why I picked up Tinykin. I'm trying to think of like maybe what podcast was I listening to at the time that maybe they mentioned it. It may have been the Besties. I'm not sure. But anyway, I mean, I picked up the game, fell in love with it. I mean, it immediately. It's so cute. It's so fun. I mean, I just feel like there's just so much love and heart and everything put into it, and just listening, just reading about kind of the developer's journal and everything, and looking at the different iterations of the game. And originally, it did have. Well, they were trying to make it have combat, and they found that not that it didn't work necessarily, just that it wasn't that fun compared to like just the joy of like moving well and moving fast. and I really, and I think that's when I knew, I was like, you know what? I think it's finally time for me to do some speed running. So let's see. Okay, so we're going to be doing another green stack. Oh, fantastic! 3. I mean, that's a first try, basically. Like that's a first try. All right, so now we're going to be going. Sorry.
Now. Sorry, my computer bugged out there. Yeah, that was like the fastest I've done it, and now we enter the French Revolution level.
Yep.
As Robes Peter starts a revolt.
Yeah, the Aunt Quivera. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and
I love it. So,
yeah, we're going to, of course, let them have cake.
Yep. So all the 1%ers lock themselves away in that cabinet up there, and our goal here, yes, is to make a cake, and I'm so excited to show you the recipe. I have it up on my TikTok. I have it in my bio. I'm so excited. But yeah, so in the Switch version, yeah, again, so we don't have that green stack that we can do, so we can't do those clips. So there's a lot of actually on the upper level of Transitor Crossing, which is just the staircase, the hallway, so the liminal space. You have to, there's like a bunch of different stuff that you have to do, and you lose a ton of time just because you don't have this glitch available. So I am just like, I'm loving watching it happen, hearing how much, and now feeling how much time that you can save. But yeah, now, so we are in Ambrose. It's the kitchen level. It's a gorgeous level, but it is not well loved, I think, by some of the other speedrunners. Not that there's a ton of us, but again, not my favorite level in terms of speedrunning, but it is, I mean, again, it's just like jam-packed full of detail and heart, and like these like beautiful golden fields. It's sponges. It's just made of sponges. Like, it's just so clever and creative, and it's just such a great, like, again, that like tiny person and giant human world. It's just such a great like aesthetic. But yeah, so we have met the yellow Tinykin, which are basically they just make bridges. Not much more to say about them. There's specific spots where they make bridges, and we'll see that later. But the reason, yeah, this level is not super well loved. It's just there's going to be a lot of downtime, and in that area specifically that mcthumbs was just in, that sort of like enclosure, I just call it the traffic jam, because we're going to be spending a lot of time waiting in there for things to kind of get moving. It's also, yeah, in terms of complexity, I would say it's definitely ramped up. I feel like Ambrose definitely ramps up, because again, that verticality gets, they play with that a lot, and there are a lot of sort of alternate routes that you can go to, like get up here and over there and up the plant and down the fridge, which leads to a lot of, for me at least, sort of like, oh wait, where was I? Or, oh wait, where was I going? Or, oh wait, did I miss that yellow one? Yes, mcthumbs is going around right now, just collecting, the requisite amounts of Tinykin, making sure that we don't have a repeat of last time. But again, those blues, I'm telling you, they are troublesome at times.
There's a lot of routing just to make sure I don't forget stuff. Because there's a lot.
For sure. Yeah, and I haven't heavily experimented with like alternate routes to this level, but I suspect that you are not going to lose a ton of time by going in different routes, because there are a lot of disparate parts that you need to collect. Like, we've got all these sugar cubes. Next, we're going to get some eggs, and we're going to get some flour, and we're going to get some salt. We're going to get some, and so on and so on. And again, the time it takes to get those, you have a lot of downtime for doing other things. So it's interesting to see the different routes that people take on this level, and knowing there's not necessarily a perfect one. And sometimes you die when you get hit with water, and it's fine. That's something we haven't really had to deal with, thankfully. But yes, Milo cannot touch water. He can touch it for about a half second, and then he explodes.
Unless it's running water,
say
which case you
casually.
can't touch it at all.
So yeah, now we're going to activate the toaster. We're going to do another blue line, another electricity connection. And this takes, as much as I've practiced the game, it's still not easy to do, because you want to make sure that you don't use too many, and you want to make sure that you don't have too few, and yeah, again, they don't love to connect to each other. And then I always end up, not always, I'm pretty good at this run, but I have forgotten to activate the toaster so many times. It's like I'm like up there waiting for the cabinets to open, like, oh wait. But yes, so yeah, we made toast to open the cabinet up to the rich guys, and we're gonna steal some stuff later on. But for right now, we're gonna go around collecting a few more Tinykin. The big guy in this level, the big obstacle, is the flour, and I think it requires 30 big strong mans. And because we have them sort of marching around collecting eggs and flour and sugar and all that, there is usually some downtime where we have to wait for them to sort of like finish their tasks. So while we wait for that, Wesley, if you've got anything, if not, I'd love to talk about the music of the game.
I actually don't have anything right now. Thank you, though.
Cool. Again,
Totally
yeah.
forgot
Again, the
to
sound.
Get this bomb
Oh yeah.
here.
Something else that's really nice that mcthumbs just showed off is Mylodane, the main character, has these like special goggles that I think it's. Well, on controller, it's you click R2, but it'll show you if where Tinykin are and what they're holding, and if they are experiencing any trouble on the map. So, kind of like in Pikmin, I think. At least in Pikmin 4, I haven't played it in a year, but I think if you check the map, it'll show that like they're wandering around confused. You can do that same thing here, and you can basically just use your little x-ray vision across the map and see what's going on. So we just used that and saw that they were blockaded over on the other side of the map. So mcthumbs quickly went over there and blew up that wall. So again, there's a lot of different like pieces that go into this game. Like, I got to make sure that this wall is broken down, but I've got 30 of these guys that I've got, One thing, oh my gosh, one thing that gets me is sometimes I'll be carrying something and I won't be able to put it down. Like, how do I explain this? So yeah, sometimes you can, your strong Tinykin can carry things kind of their own accord and they'll like follow you and everything. Like if it's something light enough, like a post-it. For this level, you can like pick up sticky notes and like put them around the level. But if they have that in their hand, they're occupied, so they can't be used for other stuff. So then you're like, oh gosh, he's holding a sticky note, so now I have to go over to this other part of the level to drop off the sticky note, and so I can have like free him up to carry the flower. So that's always and it's like, I don't know, I think it's that sort of speedrun practice kind of frustration / delight of like, oh my gosh, of course that's what's happening, of course it is, why didn't I think of that? So yes, now we are in the traffic jam where we're just making bridges for the flower to go up here.
Yeah, I think I just.
You may be a little bit
short. Yeah, I just whistled my guys a little too early. That's what happened there.
Yeah, so because there aren't enough yellows in this level, to my knowledge, there aren't enough yellows to like make all 3 of these bridges at the same time. You kind of have to wait for the Tinykin to like cross a bridge and then disassemble it and then build it over there and have them cross that one. And if you're doing that multiple moving parts at once, again, it just becomes a traffic jam. But we made it, we got the flower. Now we're gonna go up into the cabinets to finish up a few tasks. Like I was gonna talk about the sound design a little bit. So, one of the cute, just little pieces of the game, is when you're listening to the music, and you have your strong Tinykin, the pink Tinykin, carrying something around, they'll do their little heave hos to the beat of whatever song is playing in that moment. So they're just sort of like bobbing. They're just like straight up vibing and carrying things around. So this is our cake as it stands now. 3 whole eggs, a sack of flour, sack included. And we're not going to get rid of any of that because I think it adds a nice amount of like fiber. It adds a nice crunch to a cake, and I think that's really special. So the last thing, what are we still missing?
Just the items in the fridge at this point.
Ah, yes, we're going to the fridge.
A lot of back and forth in this level. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean this is like one of those more clear like examples of why I love the green Tinykin so much, because they really do open up the levels so like incredibly that it's like you can just kind of end up doing anything if you have enough of them. I mean, not anything obviously, but I mean there's so much more, everything kind of opens up and you have so many more options and so much more like movement that you can
There we go.
Good. That's always a little tight. It just provides so much more movement, freedom of movement. Especially as like speedrunners, we like to kind of optimize things as much as possible. And the green Tinykin kind of provide that third dimension of like, you know what? Yeah, go really tall. I don't care. Skip this whole like this whole section. I don't care. As long as you have enough of us. All right. So the last couple things we're going to be collecting is the yogurt and the butter back here. And this is going to be another one of those traffic jam moments over underneath the table. So again, yeah, a lot of downtime on this level, just kind of the nature of it. You know, we don't have enough kind of pinks to carry everything at once. We don't have enough yellows to build every bridge at once. So we do things in parts and... you know, we just kind of chill. We just kind of vibe and listen to the music. Which, again, I think in each level is just so immaculate. Look at those little guys. Ugh. I just love my little guys. Anyway, but yes, Wesley, if there's anything that you would like to talk about, we do have some downtime here.
Yeah, I actually have a donation from Mel, aka Draggle. They donated $10 saying, "I love being tiny and kin." Which, great. I also love being tiny and kin. And then
So
I wanted to
relatable.
read a little bit more about Community really quick, about their goals and such. Community priority is to ensure that they continue to show up for queer, trans, and two-spirit communities every day. They are leading with stability, continuity, and building trust. That is how they, as a community, can work towards a province where all two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersexual, and asexual people can live free from harm and discrimination. Thank you, community, and thank you for this amazing run so far. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I would honestly encourage anybody to play this game. I mean, even casually, I mean, especially casually. It's just such a wonderful game. And yeah, my friend, yeah. And so I got the game. I speedrunning it. I started speedrunning it. I talked about it constantly. I think I bought a few copies for friends. Got some friends, bullied some friends into buying it. It's just so lovely, and it's such a, I mean, pardon, but it's just like a pint-sized, just a little bite-sized experience. Because, I mean, the speedrun's about an hour 20. The world record's 43 or something. You know what? We're not trying to do all that. That's fine. But the game itself, I mean, probably not that long. Maybe 5 hours, if you're kind of playing it casually, and then longer than that if you want to like do all the collectibles and do all the little side quests, which again I would recommend as well. Oh god, the cake! They're making the cake. Okay, it's a perfect cake now. Perfect cake batter, no shells, no flour sack, no plastic yogurt pieces, no microplastics to worry about.
The Tinykin really wanted just macroplastics. Just cut them
They're
out, man.
the Tinykin are freaks. Actually, I'm also not sure about the lore of the Tinykin. Are they giant bacteria? Or are they just sort of something totally... Because, I mean, the bugs are regular sized. I don't know.
It's like
But
a
here's
frame
something... So... Oh, sorry, mcthumbs?
off. Oh, the frame off the cutscene skip.
Yeah, so here's another cutscene skip that can be a little difficult to get, and we didn't quite get it today, which is totally fine, because I don't quite know the timing on it. But if you use a red Tinykin to blow up that silk string, it creates a silk string that goes over to the main table. If you do that while the cake is getting thrown into the oven, into a bowl, and then comes out as a fully realized cake, again, I'm not going to worry about it. You can maneuver Milo as the cutscenes are sort of like not exactly skipped. They're kind of skipped. It's a weird. We didn't get to see it, but it sort of like phases in and out and skips them in a way, and it saves some time. But again, totally fine. That's for me something I get. I mean, half the time if I'm lucky. Oh, there they are. Yes, and then yeah, one last little traffic jam. And we'll have our part, and we'll go back to Crystal Workshop. But anyway, yes, we made the cake. We let them make cake. I guess that solved the French Revolution. Don't be mean to rid me. Don't be mean to my guy. He's trying to help us. But yes, I guess we solved the political crisis, and now everyone's eating cake together. A bit of a confusing, I think, sort of ideologically confusing level. But you know what? We got our tea strainer. We are out. We are living. We are thriving. And so, yes, yeah, we got one last level, Solarian Park, and it is a bit of a doozy to learn. It's It's very interesting. We'll get to that later. But yes, we've got our T-strainer on the side of our spaceship, and this is definitely going to work. And then the last piece we need to get is a push pin from Solarian Park. So we're going to be going, yes, we're in Crystal Workshop. We're going to go back out to Transitor Crossing. And we're going to do the green stack skip one more time and skip just a little more. Actually, do you do the green stack here?
Oh yeah, you do.
Okay. Oh, all right, and that's a bit of a tight jump there, especially with only 2 bubbles.
Isn't it crazy how any percent does that jump in one?
And there we go. Typically, you need a ticket to get into Disney World, but not today.
Our green Tinykin wear a ticket. Because they're the goat.
I'm having a little trouble hearing you.
Can you hear?
I can hear a little bit. Let me turn you up on my end. No problem. As long as I don't get that feedback, I can turn you up in Discord. All right, so yes, we're in Solarian Park now, which is sort of an analog for Disney World. This ant here at the front of the park, he was like, yeah, I'll gladly give you the push pin, but first, don't you want to experience all the fun of the park that is currently completely broken? You should experience all the fun before I give you the piece. So he's basically holding it hostage. The ant's name is Walter, so not the most subtle of references. But yeah, this is Solarian Park. There's a ton to do here, and it's basically the culmination of everything that you've done so far in the game. So there's not going to be a new Tinykin. It's just sort of a test of everything you've done up until now. And so right now, what mcthumbs is going to do is just travel around this racetrack, collecting, making sure that we have enough Tinykin of each color to do what we need to do later. And then this level has a couple different not sub areas. There's just little sections of it that have interesting different things going on, and we want to make sure that we're doing as many of them as possible at the same time, which again requires a lot of precision in terms of where you are, how quickly you can get a skip, how quickly you can connect the electricity with the blues. So it's all very dependent on how dexterous we can be in each individual part.
And some paints. Get where they are.
Yeah, and this one can be pretty specific. And because the level can be so big, and because there's so much sort of empty air, it can be quite a setback if you miss. Yeah, I would grab some blues. If you miss certain clumps of Tinykin moving forward. But, we can always go back to them. We can always pick them back up later. It's funny, I watched them. I want to say, who did I watch? I like Codex. I like watching Codex. But I think I was watching Aurelian's run of Solarian Park. I think I watched that at least twice in the in the hour before we started doing this, just to fully refresh myself on it, because even running the game a few times, I was still like, oh god, I don't know if I'm gonna remember everything that's happening.
Okay.
So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna collect that sword there, and that's gonna be kind of the bigger part of this for a while, because they need to get the sword down from there up through here. We need to create some bridges. I've got a little Tinykin and some actual physical, Lego style bridges here. and sort of escort them through a couple different castles, which is going to require yellows, greens, blues, a couple reds. Obviously, we've got the pinks going on. And yeah, whenever you have downtime, you always want to be collecting any Tinykin you can. Just as safety, just as, because you actually literally do need them. Can never hurt to have too many of them. And so yeah, before the sword even gets up here, we're setting up the stage for him, so we don't have to do much in terms of keeping them moving, because we want to move on to doing a couple other tasks while they take the sword over to near where they need to get it to go. Here we've got another blue.
Yeah, this one is like weirdly the most precise blue Tinykin section in the game.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think you just barely got that, which is my experience. Most of the time, it's like kind of by the skin of my teeth. I have enough blues.
Yeah.
All right, and the sword is moving. So I guess the plot of this level is not too bad. I mean, he's just Walter's a greedy capitalist, which is always kind of a fun story. But basically, what we're doing is we're going to be setting up a NASCAR, a Formula One. I would say a Formula One race between two wasps. We need to fix the track. We need to find an audience. We need to fix the cars, and we need a prize at the end of it. So what we're doing right now is we're collecting the prize. And the Tinykin are going to be carrying that sword over to that T-Rex, slaying him, and collecting the trophy from him. So it's a very fun little tableau. Again, when you're playing it casually.
Found one of those pinks, just to make sure. But we'll just go ahead
I'm trying to think of
instead.
how many pinks we're actually going to need. You should be okay. Oh, there they are.
There we are. Yeah, I also believe that we should be okay, but it never hurts. So don't...
Oh, for sure, yeah.
No!
I said there wasn't combat in the game. I lied. So that opens that door to that trophy. We're going to ignore that for now because we got some more important things to do. And again, once we have a couple other balls rolling, we're going to fly over there and pick that back up. And that's one of the ones that you can, the Tinykin can kind of walk with while they're like with you, so you don't have to do any of the
Keep on. Yeah, I know that there's one in a cage nearby because I've been in this.
They may be in the bar.
Yeah, we need the green Tinykin to be able to. I think they're this one. Maybe? No.
Oh, is that no? That's blues.
Yeah, I just need. Yeah, I need like literally like 9. And I have 8. Maybe.
So check there.
Pinks.
Oh, we may need to go up the manual way.
Yeah.
Which isn't too much of a loss. Yeah, we can just head up that barn.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, if we can't find any greens, that's totally fine. Here, let's head to the right, or let's head back.
Yeah, might just do the train now.
Yeah, go towards that barn in the distance. And there's going to be a big road we can go up. And we can also do this right now if you wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, 23 blues. Yeah, we can do this. Alright, and we're going to be doing, let's see, this, I want to say, is the last blue line we have to set up.
Yeah, I believe
Thankfully.
so.
A little tricky, one, because the blues can be a little tricky, but also you're doing, working with some slopes here. some unlevel ground. I often get stuck right about here, yeah. Okay, so it looks like you've run out. So there should be some under the bookcase, some over here.
Right here. I'm not sure if these are gonna be in. I really want to connect.
Just one more. Okay, yeah, there should be some in the house that we were just in.
In this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there in the matchstick box up there? Yeah, over there.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Easy peasy, baby.
Yeah.
Boom.
There is just so much to this level.
Oh yeah, I mean even 90 days is also so short for a game. Like I feel like this is an easy and a difficult speedrun. I think it is approachable because it's so fun. To me personally, I think it's a lot of fun to kind of move around and explore the world, but there are these very specific numbers that you have to hit that if you don't have them in mind, or if you don't have the list in front of you, like I have a list on my phone that I just like keep in front of me, it looks like absolute nonsense to anybody who has never maybe played the game, but I keep that in front of me all the time. It's let's see, Solarian.
Should have prepared. With my
I mean, you have been preparing. I mean, this is a miracle that you're doing as well as you're doing.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm looking at my list now. Crates, table, kickflip to eggs, toaster, flour, up top, fridge open. Like, just these little reminders of like where to be, when to be. It's tough. And then check on the thing that we were stuck on. I don't know if there's like a barrier that they're stuck. I don't think so.
They might not be down yet.
Oh, you'll have to remake that bridge up there.
Yep. Sometimes you get too fast for the game, sometimes you get too slow for the game.
For the longest time, and this is like embarrassing to admit, but for the longest time I didn't know how to like auto make a bridge. So I would just throw the yellows at the bridge to make the bridge, and it's so much slower. And when you do that, the camera swings around so violently that Milo will just like fall off the bridge and scrap the entire run. It was like, I feel like a month before I did like my final like full recording of the record that I figured it out. Because I would watch the videos and again, like this is like sort of like a Switch versus PC thing. I was like, oh, maybe you just can't do that on Switch, but I eventually figured out, no, you can. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't think I actually got an extra green Tinykin. I just made the bridge better.
yeah, you can throw them. You can just throw them, and it works. Very slow, and I don't recommend it. But yeah, so that's so we were missing that one green Tinykin earlier. Let's see.
Now I'm missing a pink Tinykin.
But they should be. Let's see.
I think the guys with the track should be able to get to where they need to go without getting blocked. Because I know. Yeah,
there they are. Yeah. Solarium Park. Again, yeah, a ton of moving parts, and it all looks to me very similar. I mean, it's beautiful, all the reds and blues and purples, but again, it can look very similar. Yeah, I think we are back on track now. So yeah, that green that we were missing, we were just one shy of. It was to skip going up a bridge that kind of takes a while to kind of get up and around. In the meantime, while we went and found that green, we did a couple of other different tasks, just a little bit out of order, but not too bad.
I don't even think I got a green. I just got luck here with the jump up. Just kind of funny.
All right, yeah, another tight jump. Not too bad, but it is very missable. So yes, now we've got the trophy for the event. We just need to, let's see, I think we still need to fix the track and then fix the cars, and then we'll be all set.
I think, yeah, we just need that car to get to, yeah.
There we go. We got that multitasking going. Oh, and it's cute, actually, that reminds me, so the wasps that are doing the racing right now, they actually are sort of the two characters that, the developers added like a time attack kind of a thing to the game where you have to get from like a level kind of as fast as you can, and it's like got slightly different mechanics. There's like these bubbles that make you go very fast. So all this sort of like time attack stuff is actually done by those two wasps who are race car drivers in canon. So that's very cute. Yeah, so you'll find them in the different levels, offering little time courses, and you can get like different outfits and hats and stuff like that, which I haven't done. I really should for a game as much as I love. I really should do all of it, but yeah, all the different alternate outfits are very cute, and I think actually you're wearing like the Rid Me outfit. Mylodane typically has a cute little like big ol' orange space suit parka thing going on, but there's like, I want to say there's like a cowboy hat, there's like a little fancy suit, there's a ton of different ones that are fun, that you can only get through doing the time attacks. But yeah, we are done with the level essentially now. We're just watching these two race. We will get our push pin, and then we will be on our way to the kind of final section of the level of the game, really, which isn't too difficult. It's a couple of different jumps and throws, and then we'll be done. But if anybody is, it is a surprisingly like tonally to the game. If anybody is like really interested in this game and doesn't kind of want like the last part of it spoiled in any way, there's not a good way to explain this. You can just sort of look away for a bit once we get up there.
Yeah, we are entering like the conclusion of the game here, and there is some like slight lore, I think, on the character you play as, Mylodane. And if you don't want that spoiled, and you want to just find that out for yourself, I recommend just not watching the video.
Which I know sounds wild for like a wild warning for a game that again kind of looks like it came from like a PBS kind of joint, but it actually is like this very moving kind of last piece to the game that, like, for me when I first played it felt like it came out of nowhere, because I hadn't done like all the collectibles and stuff, because I'm not generally a collectibles kind of guy, but there actually is a ton of lore. We made our spaceship! Oh yay! And it broke. Which is crazy. How could something like this, that's made out of scissors and tape, not send us out into space? But a rope has opened up to the attic, and we're gonna go up into the attic. So again, this is like the final sequence if anybody wants to just look away for a little bit. But Wesley, yeah, if there's anything else in these kind of final minutes you want to say, now would be the time.
So, not much, just the clear and simple fact that we've hit $1,200 for QMUNITY. I completely missed it on the last donation, but that is huge. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to QMUNITY, and thank you everyone who donated. I am ready to see, all the incentives we reach towards. I'm ready to see those happen.
We are in the land. Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Yep, so we're in the last refuge. Oh god, like what an amazing like iconography like piece of like imagery. I love it. So what we're gonna do? So there's a boombox up here, and it is actually playing the music that all of the bugs have been hearing, like from what's the first room called? I can't remember the first room, but like they're hearing all of this stuff. This is the boombox, and now we have just destroyed the boombox that they have built a religion out of, which has awoken this tiny man living in this cardboard house. Now we get a few little tender moments of pictures around the attic, which gives you a tiny bit of context of like, yes, there was a family here once, and that dinosaur there is actually like a piece of a side quest in the first level, and this is the Foliana Heights level, and but yeah, this is Ardwin. This is the man that all the bugs have been worshiping for kind of time immemorial. So it turns out that this house is Ardwin's house, and they're kind of stuck in a time lock. So it's like permanently 1996 or whatever. And to keep himself alive, he's been having to like replace his body with machine parts. And so now he's sort of living this sort of cyborg tortured existence in the attic as this kind of false deity to these bugs that worship him. The whole thing is wild, and I urge everybody to play this game.
Time is coming up, by the way. And that's time.
We are done. So yeah, I'll pass it over to you, mcthumbs, or anybody else. That's not me.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I've got. Thank you so much for hosting, and thank you so much for suggesting Tinykin Silver Sun. I had a blast learning this game, and yeah, that's all I got.
Yep, that's really it for me. Again, play Tinykin. I love it. Listen to the soundtrack. Support the team. They worked really hard and are French Canadian, I think. So a little bit of a connection there. Anyway, that's it for me.